In this video, we will be discussing the What's in Your Corpus, a Sweeping View GUI within the NLP suite. So to start, we will go under the Corpus Analysis Tools section and choose the first option, What's in Your Corpus, a Sweeping View. And we'll click Run and give it a second. All right, bring this into frame. So within this GUI, the main things to note are that we're looking at just general statistics of our corpus, some topic modeling tools, and then also use of the Stanford Core NLP and WordNet functions. So to start, just like all the other videos, we will be using an input corpus directory. So for Kathy and I will be using the inaugural addresses corpus that we have and an output files directory. So for me, this is just a general tutorials out file folder. So to start, you'll notice this check input corpus for UTF-8 encoding, and then also a conversion of non-ASCII apostrophes and quotes and percentages to actual percents. So this is just making sure that the format of your corpus is up to the same formatting standards as the NLP suite. So it's just so that everything in your corpus can be properly read by all of the software that we're using throughout the NLP suite. Next, we see the Compute Corpus Statistics option, and Kathy will dive into this in a later video, but for the sweeping view of the corpus, this GUI, we can just leave this checked just to give us a general overview of the statistics within our corpus, such as line lengths or number of documents, so just a general overview. Next, we have what are the topics. So this is topic modeling software, and this is used to visualize the main topics and words within your corpus. So this is really good for beginning the process of distant reading of your corpus. And we will be focusing on the GenSim software within topic modeling. Finally, the last part of this GUI is the What Else is in Your Corpus tool via Stanford Core NLP and WordNet. So WordNet is a large database that groups nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs into different sysnets, which are basically just cognitive synonyms. And so it's kind of like a thesaurus. And then Stanford Core NLP Annotator annotates the corpus for dialogue, people, locations, and times. For example, there's a gender annotator. And you can see all of this in the drop-down menu where we see like noun and verb classes, people and organizations, dialogues, males and females. So there's a lot of different things you can do within this function. We're just going to leave the star and just say we want all of them for now. And before we click run, I also want to note on a lot of systems, this 4 for the memory bar isn't going to be enough. So I usually bring it up to 8 just to make sure you have enough RAM on your system to make sure everything runs properly. 8 has been good for Kathy and me in the past. So now we're going to click run and we'll get all of this information bundled up together. I actually show the run of the Sweeping View GUI just because this GUI can take hours or for some people days, depending on how big your corpus is. But I wanted to just jump to the output files that we have. So to start, let's look at the GenSim topic modeling output that's in an HTML format. Upon opening the HTML file, you can see that we have a lot of graphs going on here. So I guess the most prominent thing you might see is these top 30 most salient terms within our corpus. So it makes sense, and intuitively you can kind of think about this, that government is one of the most prominent words in our presidential inaugural addresses corpus. So we can see that they focus on government, people, the word must. So you can just kind of go through this list and kind of think about the terms that kind of are most, as it says, most salient and kind of the most interesting with respect to your corpus. And then over here, it just kind of breaks down. You can see the most relevant terms for topic 1, and there's just different topics kind of grouped together in a principal component analysis plot, which isn't necessarily something you need to focus on, but just know that it's kind of grouping the topics together by similarity. So we'll go through the Stanford Core NLP Annotator output. So as you can see, we get a lot of output files from the Stanford Core NLP Annotator. So I'm not going to go through all of these by opening them, but I wanted to just go through them based on the names. So we can go through the gender inaugural bar chart annotator and the gender CSV file to start. The gender inaugural bar chart output, and remember it's inaugural because that's the name of our corpus, we see that an overwhelming frequency of gender types in our corpus are male. And so this is just a very easy way to visualize it in the chart section of the CSV file, or excuse me, Excel file. And we can see in the data tab on the bottom left that, once again, males are the overwhelming frequency, and these are just the values that were used to make the chart here. We've looked at the bar chart and saw that the overwhelming majority of frequency of gender is male in our corpus. We can go into the CSV file for gender in our corpus and further break down the male characters within it. So we can see here all of the instances of males in our corpus, and they're documented by document ID, the sentence within it, and it even provides you the context with the sentence around it. So we see a lot of he, his, God, Jefferson, Adams, George Washington. And so there's a lot. The moon is one of them, so you can see that sometimes it's not exactly accurate, but overall we see his, the father of his country. So we see a general trend of males in our corpus. Most of these files from the Stanford Core NLP software, I'm just going to go through just generally how they help us rather than opening each one. So next we see NER tags and bar chart and CSV file, again, just like gender. And NER tags are name entity recognition tags, just kind of help us group specified people or places. And then we have dates. So we see, once again, a bar chart and a CSV file. So these are specifically cited dates within our corpus, as the name suggests. And then next we have limitized nouns and verbs. So this is literally what it sounds like, and it's just the list of nouns and verbs within your corpus. And then we also have a CSV file of quotes. So anytime quotation marks are used in the corpus, or a speaker is quoting someone else, that's a file of all of those instances. We will discuss the WordNet output from the sweeping view GUI in the NLP suite. So you can see we have similar files. So we have 3 output files for nouns here, and then 3 output files for verbs. So let's go through the nouns, and it'll be similar for verbs. So to start, let's look at this lemma nouns inaugural, once again the name of our corpus, frequency CSV file. We open this CSV file, we see all of the WordNet categories and the frequency of nouns in each of these categories. So for better visualization in Excel, I'm just going to select this top option, and on the top right, oh, it's slightly out of frame, but I'm just going to click sort and filter, and then sort largest to smallest. And then here we see that group actually has the largest frequency. So the WordNet category of group, so this could be like groups of people, and then followed by act. And so in the next file, we'll actually be able to visualize these categories. So let's go into the output bar chart Excel file. I believe that this Excel file with the graphs are actually being optimized right now, because as you can see, we can only see the top 2 categories on this bar chart, but this just helps us to visualize the difference between the frequency of group and act categories within our corpus. And once again, this is the chart tab, and if you go to the Excel data tab, we see the same thing sorted by frequency that we saw in the last file, with group, act, and cognition as the top 3 WordNet frequencies in this corpus. That was a general introduction to the What's in Your Corpus, a sweeping view GUI within the NLP suite, and I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.